What's up guys, Raiho here, and welcome back to another video. So, I just got back from checking out Blair Witch, which is the third now in the trilogy of the Blair Witch Project movies. Unlike it's the sequel to the original film, this is a very direct sequel to the original. It's another found footage movie, whereas the second film kind of bridged both. There was some found footage, but it was mostly a regular sort of film on a set or whatever. It's the idea here is that some footage was found of some people trying to make a film in the Burkittsville woods, much like the original. And we're getting to see it a couple of years after it was found. I think it was supposed to be found in like 2014 or something like that. And in this one, however, some people that lived in the Burkittsville area went into the woods, claimed they found some tapes there, took them back. They didn't get much footage off the tapes, but they posted a YouTube video of some of the footage they found. And Heather Donahue's younger brother, who is now, it's been 20 years since the sister's been missing, sees the video on YouTube and kind of wants to go and inspect a little bit in the woods himself and maybe find some closure with everything that's gone on with his sister. His friend happens to be a documentary filmmaker. He enlists a buddy of his and his buddy's girlfriend, and the four of them are going to go into the woods and see if they can figure out what happened. Try to find that house. In the footage, they believe they see Heather in a house, which is much like the ending of the original film. So they want to go and find this house, which apparently there are no houses in the Burkittsville woods. So it's kind of like right off the hop, there's maybe a little bit of a supernatural element there. And they end up grouping up with the two YouTubers that had posted the original video, who are from the area, and they're going to kind of guide them a little bit through the woods because they've been out there before. Initially, I was kind of worried about the film because, well, first of all, this movie is kind of hidden. It was kind of a surprise release. For a long time, people knew that there was a movie being filmed called The Woods, and then a few months before the release of the film, it was unveiled, hey, this is a Blair Witch sequel. So I was kind of worried at first that maybe it was actually another film and they kind of shoehorned it into the Blair Witch, but it looks like from stem to stern, this was meant to be a Blair Witch sequel and was just hidden, just much like it was advertised, which was good. I was glad that it wasn't something they just kind of made fit. I believe it was directed by Adam Wingard and produced by Simon Barrett, and from everything I can tell from these guys, they really genuinely seem like they wanted to make a good horror movie, a scary horror movie, and a really good sequel to the Blair Witch. That's one of the reasons I want to see it in the theater. I don't think it's doing too well right now, which is too bad. But because these guys, like I said, they seem pretty passionate about the project. Overall, it's hard to say what I really thought about the movie in a way. I know for the first 45 minutes or so, I guess, of the movie, or maybe even more of it, I was kind of iffy on it for sure. The chemistry of the characters in the movie wasn't there, or at least compared to the original. Maybe in the original film, you had a unique situation because the film was such a sort of strange project. The actors were literally put into the woods and kind of left to their own devices, and they ad-libbed most of the movie. Except for maybe some beats that the directors or the producers said, you need to do this, that, or the other thing. This movie it's acted, it's found footage, but it's clearly, it's done on sets and stuff like that. So I felt like the chemistry with the actors wasn't quite there, and it was kind of hard for the first little bit to actually care about any of the people in the film. There was one or two characters you might have cared about. Also, in some of the opening scenes where they're getting spooked by something in the woods and they're not sure what's going on, it's so clearly like digital sound that's been added in and stuff like that. Again, with the original film, and I don't mean to keep comparing it to the original, but where it's a direct sequel and it's a found footage film, it's kind of hard not to. But in the original film, they really were trying to scare these people in the woods, so you'd hear noises in the background and off in the woods, and it was really, really scary to watch. And in this one, you're kind of like sitting there like, this was done on a sound set kind of a thing. So it made it definitely less spooky for the first, like I said, leading up to it. Also, they used a lot of like kind of tacky jump scares, people bumping into each other. There was one neat moment where they kind of broke the fourth wall and somebody made a comment like, we got to stop doing this to each other or something like that, but at the same time they were using them to, and I guess it's to keep some beats and keep things moving in the film and keep you kind of scared as you're watching or whatever. But it just felt kind of tacky or whatever. Now, the last, I guess maybe 25 minutes of the movie, I gotta say, was absolutely like awesome. I gotta say, in the last 25 minutes or so, I was on the edge of my seat. I actually almost jumped out of my seat a couple of times, which hasn't happened to me a long time in a movie. I thought they did a great job of those last the it's and you know, before the movie actually started, they had, you know, those stupid cheesy, you know, vignettes and stuff like that on, and they had a quick interview with Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, and they kind of said, you know, we really wanted to make a movie where for the last bit of it was like a roller coaster kind of a thing, and it really is like a roller coaster. I don't want to say anything to spoil anything, but it's just scene after scene of very scary stuff. I really, really, really enjoyed that part of the movie for sure, and I almost have to recommend the movie just for the last bit of it. It's hard to recommend it and say go to the theater and see this, because like I did find the first half of the movie or whatever kind of just, I don't know, it just wasn't that great. But for that last bit of it where it really ramps up and things get really scary, I have to say that you should definitely check it out. Maybe you want to wait till home video. Maybe you want to check it out on a cheapy night at the theater or whatever. But again, the guys that made this movie, they seem pretty passionate about the project, and I almost want to say you should go check it out in the theater to support them, and maybe they'll get to make more cool movies in the future. But regardless, I do think, especially if you're a fan of the original film, you're going to want to see this one anyway, because you're going to want to, you know, complete the loop and see all the Blair Witch movies or whatever. But it is definitely worth a watch, I think. And I know I was down on it a little bit there, but it has some really good scares. I'm trying to be vague, so I hope that it doesn't come off that, you know, I feel like I drilled it over at the first part of the video and said that, you know, I wasn't a fan of it, and I'm not saying enough to say how good it was at the end, but I'm trying to keep it vague so that you won't have any of that spoiled for you if you do get to see the movie. So those are my thoughts on Blair Witch. You know, it kind of makes me wonder if this will open it up for more sequels. Are we going to see some more Blair Witch sequels? I don't think it's doing that great in the theater, so I don't think that'll probably be the case. That's probably what they wanted. The studios, they probably wanted to kick this off and make it, you know, another Paranormal Activity and have one every Halloween for the next little while, or every fall for the next little while. But all in all, I think it was an okay movie, and I kind of would really like to see it on video, and see what my thoughts are, you know, on it in a couple of months' time. Little side story here too. When I saw I've told this story before, either on, you know, in videos or on the Sausage Factory or something like that. But when I saw the first film, I had to sit like in the lower section, and I had to look up at the film kind of thing, and I'd eaten these awful crispy M&Ms, which were M&Ms with like Rice Krispies inside them. I think they're back now, but it's pretzels, so they're not the same thing. But and oh man, I was so sick to my stomach with all the shaky cam and all that. And anyway, I ran to the washroom, and I was scared I was going to throw up, and somebody had thrown up all over the floor in the bathroom, and somehow I managed not to get sick. I didn't get sick. I didn't throw up or anything like that, but I had a hard time with sitting through the movie. And the same thing happened to me with this movie, which kind of also makes me worry that it was a little hard on the first 45 minutes of it or so, because I was so sick to my stomach and maybe wasn't enjoying some of the scarier beats and maybe some of the stuff in the background that maybe I missed, because I couldn't even look up sometimes. I was worried that some people in the theater might be looking at me thinking I was scared to death, but I was just having a hard time. I had to take my glasses off and not look and stuff. Yeah, I just, whatever it is about that shaky cam in the theater, man, I don't know. Totally makes me sick to my stomach. But anyway, I muscled through it and I made it through the film. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what your thoughts were on the movie, if you caught it, down in the comments below, or just the Blair Witch Project trilogy altogether. So anyway, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Peace.